Hello, Taurus Risings, and welcome to your 2026 astrology yearly review, as well as some tarot insights. We have some big themes coming up ahead, like Saturn and Neptune, that will be entering Aries, your 12th house, which is a powerful activation for spiritual growth, closure, and letting go of those things that no longer serve you. In this area, you are going to need to prioritize rest, healing, and be willing to do the inner work. We will also go through briefly of the eclipse energy because I will be doing a separate video on those when the time comes, but this will be in the Aquarius 10th house, so there could be shifts in career direction, your public image or your long-term goals, and also the 5th house of Virgo. So that's the energy of creativity, your hobbies, passion projects, and children. It's always important to follow here your chart ruler and the transits that involve your chart ruler. So I have here the dates and what sign Venus goes in throughout the year, because as you are a Taurus, that indicates that your chart ruler is Venus. So it's always important to see what Venus is doing throughout the year to see where that energy is going to play out in your personal chart. All right, Taurus Risings, 2026 is shaping up to be a year of that deep inner work for you, with Saturn and Neptune moving into your 12th house. So this is like a karmic cue that you're going to want to slow down this year, really sit and tune in and focus on your spiritual well-being. It's a powerful time for healing, letting go of anything that's been weighing you down, and for finding just a little bit more peace within yourself. So a great way to work with Saturn in Aries here in your 12th is to allow that time to recharge and process. Don't push for answers right away, because with that 12th house, it's more about sitting and ruminating a bit, because clarity will take time to come, and it usually comes from within. So you get answers by stillness, meditation, and those aha moments. And while you're in that 12th house energy, it's a great time to release old patterns or any past issues. So you want to seek solitude when you can, or spiritual practices for healing. You don't have to, but at least for me, I always tell people that retreats with medicines like mushrooms or ayahuasca is a great way to work with 12th house energies for those who are interested, of course. So as mentioned, I did pull these cards myself physically, and I got the images and put them up just as they came out. So this is our tarot guidance from the collective energy here for those who will watch this video. So with Saturn and Neptune transit, I asked the spirit realm what would be the most helpful for you to hear during this time for this energy and this transit. So what's coming up here is slow down and not, fighting yourself. The first card here is the 5 of Wands, which shows me there's been a lot of inner conflict, maybe too many thoughts, too many feelings, just a lot of things pulling at you internally. So if you felt mentally restless or just feeling emotionally scattered, that does make sense, especially with this transit. This is stirring things that usually stay hidden. So with this card, I would just advise not to try to push through it. The next card is the High Priestess, which is saying that this is a time to listen and not try to force clarity. You don't need to explain everything or to try to fix everything or even fully grasp or understand what's coming up yet. Just pay attention to those quiet moments. So your dreams with the 12th house is also representative of your dreams. I would pay attention to that, or just your gut feelings, the things you can feel, but you don't really have words to put to it. That's where the guidance is going to be there with this transit. And then with the Justice reverse, Spirit is really encouraging to release self-judgment, because the 12th house is also about self-undoing. So you don't necessarily need to have this giant breakthrough. This is more about compassion and letting go of old guilt, maybe old narratives you've been telling yourself, or that feeling that you're behind in some type of way. The healing here is really going to happen when you stop putting so much pressure on yourself to transform. Just allow things to move the way they're meant to. So the overall takeaway with this transit between the astrological events happening and your spirit guidance here is to rest your mind, trust your intuition, and just be gentle with yourself. This is more of a quiet behind the scenes type of work, very powerful. So with your eclipse season this year, again, I will go more in depth on a separate video that I will be making for the eclipse seasons. So career, creativity, anything that happens in those houses, you just want to roll with them. If work takes a different turn or you're feeling like your passions are changing, don't try not to resist it. Just be open to any type of new ambitions, whether it's creatively or in your career. And definitely make space for anything fifth house, like hobbies, art, creativity, those type of things that help you feel more alive and joyful. So for this eclipse season, the cards I pulled are the Seven of Wands reversed, the Seven of Pentacles, and the Tower. And the guidance here really ties into your 10th house of career, your reputation, and again with that fifth house of creativity, joy, and children. So the first thing we're getting here is very similar to the other cards actually. There's this energy of not feeling like you have to over defend yourself, whether that's in your work or how others see you. And that being tied in with the Seven of Wands reverse shows that you may have been feeling exhausted trying to prove yourself, especially in professional situations or in areas where people watch or judge you. So this eclipse season can amplify that pressure, but the advice here is to step back instead of feeling like you have to push harder. You don't have to constantly justify yourself or your path. And the Seven of Pentacles is asking you to take a moment to pause and reflect, especially around your creative projects or hobbies, passion, or children, the fifth house energy, and look at what you're invested time and effort into. So you really want to sit and ask yourself, what's actually growing? What's worth continuing? Because not everything needs to move too fast. This is about patience and just having that honest evaluation. And then the Tower shows up, so it can feel intense. But here it's about clarity. So in the 10th house and 5th house, it suggests that those structures or routine that aren't solid may start to break down, especially with anything that has to do with the Tower is something that wasn't built on solid ground, which is why it does break down. It could be career patterns or those expectations in career or old creative habits. And Spirit wants to reassure you that this is more of a freeing energy for you with the Tower, not something that's like pushing you over the edge towards destruction. It makes room for something more aligned and sustainable. So the guidance for this eclipse season is to really take a step back from constant feeling like you have to defend yourself in professional life. Take stock of what really matters in your creativity or your personal expression and allow those old patterns to fall away without that fear attached to it. Because here what we see is a reset type of energy, one that really clears away the path for growth and joy and something that actually fits you. Now we have Uranus moving back into Gemini here. This is very insightful. It's going to be moving into your second house, bringing those unexpected events or breakthroughs regarding finances, resources, and your sense of self-worth. Could also be unique ways of bringing in revenue and income, which means surprises, good or weird, around money and resources. It's a great year to get creative with how you earn money or how you save, and to really tune into what you value the most. What matters to you now might be very different than it was a year ago. And it might be very different once this transit is over as well. So a great tip here would be to stay flexible with money. Look for creative ways to generate an income or to save as well. And you really want to reevaluate here those things that really matter to you, not just the money, but things, the personal items that matter to you. Your priorities or your values may also shift. So with Gemini moving and activating that second house, we pulled some intuitive tarot guidance. And here we have the 10 of Pentacles reversed, the Wheel, and the Queen of Wands. So the first thing this shows me is that some old ideas about security or about stability are going to shift here. Of course, that's not a surprise with Uranus energy, which is about sudden shifts. The 10 of Pentacles reversed suggests that those things that you have relied on in the past, maybe financial patterns, family expectations, or any type of long standing habits around stability isn't serving you the way it used to. So, Spirit is really asking you to loosen the grip a little bit because change is going to be a part of the process. And with the wheel here, it's also a reminder that life is always in motion. And of course, with Uranus energy, things are very unexpected. So, expect some opportunities or sudden shifts or even surprises around your resources. And that doesn't always have to be something scary because the wheel is just reminding you that cycles move. So it is a part of the bigger picture here. And with the Queen of Wands, she is the guide through it all. So she's saying to trust yourself, really own that confidence. I love this card. Own the confidence, own your choices, especially around the things that you value and how you earn or manage your money and resources. And with the Queen energy, your intuition and creativity can really help you navigate those changes with more grace. So the guidance here is to be open to those shifts, trust the flow, and step into your own power around money and personal finances. You don't need to control everything. Your confidence and your ability to adapt will carry you through. So on June the 30th, Jupiter will enter into the sign of Leo, and that is your fourth house of home and family. So Jupiter will really be expanding your home base and your family connections. So this could be a potential move, or if not a move, then a renovation, or just a deeper sense of comfort and support within the home environment. And it also brings that energy of luck, expansion, and positive development within your family life. So during this transit, you really want to invest in your living space and the people who make you feel safe within it. So it really will pay off in more ways than one with Jupiter. Now, the tarot spiritual guidance here, we have the Page of Swords, again with the Queen of Wands and Queen of Pentacles. I love this spread right here. So with Jupiter transiting the fourth, the Page of Swords can feel like a reminder to stay curious about your inner world and those ancestral roots. This could show up as asking questions about family history or re-examining those things that you believe in, the things that you've learned growing up, or just approaching that emotional life and foundation, maybe with a fresh perspective. You don't have to really have it all figured out during this transit about anything to do with home or ancestry, but this is more of a gentle exploration and learning with the Page of Swords energy. So it's very new. So some new information might also come out here. Then the Queen of Wands shows up and she's encouraging you to bring that confidence and warmth into your home and personal life. So this might come up as maybe taking up more space, whether it's physically or emotionally, or even setting boundaries with family, or becoming maybe the emotional leader with that Leo energy in the household. So Jupiter here really wants you to grow by owning your needs and creating a home environment that really reflects who you are. And then the Queen of Pentacles really grounds this transit beautifully. She is about nourishment and stability, also care. So this card could suggest investing in your home or your emotional security in practical, Queen of Pentacles ways, whether that's making your space more comfortable or tending to family matters or prioritizing rest and care within the home. So the overall guidance with this Jupiter transit is really about exploring your inner world, leading with warmth and confidence in your personal life, and really building a foundation that truly supports you. So this is a season for emotional expansion and healing, and creating a sense of home that feels abundant and safe. And then we have our Venus retrograde that will retrograde in Scorpio into Libra, and this will begin on October the 3rd. So Venus retrograde is your timeout for relationships and daily life. So old issues might come back up. So it is a great opportunity to check in. Are your partnerships and routines really working for you? Because you really don't want to push any big decisions during this transit. Just maybe some small tweaks or honest conversations can really go a long way with this transit. And this is retrograding from your 7th house of relationships into your 6th house of, those daily routines or self-care habits. So old issues may resurface for healing in one of those two houses. So you really want to reflect again on those partnerships. Are your needs being met? Are you communicating clearly in the relationship? And with that sixth house, you really want to re-examine daily routines, your self-care, and just small changes that you can make to bring some type of improvement in your day-to-day life. And our spiritual guidance here is the Hermit, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Chariot. The first thing here is about taking some space to reflect. So the Hermit feels like it's saying it's time to slow down, really take a second to kind of pull back a little bit and check in with yourself. This retrograde energy can really stir up old patterns in that seventh house of relationships. And it's asking you to figure out what's actually working for you before trying to fix anyone else or any type of relationship dynamics. And then the Queen of Pentacles shows up next, and she's all about balance and nurturing, not just others, but yourself too. So, Spirit is really saying focus on those things that make you feel secured and make you feel cared for. And that's both in your day to day life and in your relationships, because remember, we're talking about seventh and sixth. So, small, steady actions that support yourself. This is going to help you navigate this retrograde more smoothly. And then the Chariot comes in, which is your nudge to really take action. But with the Chariot, it's more about taking action in a controlled way. So don't push anything too quickly or recklessly or try to force outcomes with other people. Instead, you really want to move with intentions. So set strong boundaries, take charge of your own routine, and let that be the guide in how you react or interact with others. So the advice for this retrograde would be to take a step back, reflect, and take care of yourself and move forward, but with intention. It's about, with the Chariot here, steering your life in a way that supports your stability and your heart and letting the rest fall into place naturally. Thank you so much for watching my Taurus Risings. 2026 is really inviting you to slow down, to heal, and listen to that inner voice as old cycles close, new creative and career opportunities arise. Please stay flexible with money and nurture your home and allow your relationships to evolve with patience and self-love. If you liked it, please comment down below, share, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video.